All right, let's see what we got. So contractor Mike gave me this. I thought this may be the one that had an oil leak, but I'll show you again. I took another video of it a couple of days back, but it doesn't look like it's leaking oil underneath. But the body's in nice shape, right? And then we got this Toro. By the way, this has the bag, so we're going to want to look at that. We got this Toro. Let's move it in the sun. The bag is okay. The cables move, or they're a little verklempt. And you could see it's the same garbage MTD uni body. Just crap. Wheels a little worn, plasticky wheels, real garbage. Remember when Toro was like an actual thing? Oh my, how far you have fallen. Remember when Toro was nice? What happened? You know what happened. I complain about this all the time. Let's look underneath. Just garbage. But it's all there. This one's designed a little bit different. No cracks there, like all the others. There's a belt on it and all. Plastic tranny. All right, I think we might be able to get this one cleaned up. We're gonna give it a rinse and I'll tear it apart and I'll finish cleaning it. Did you see that big bee that just went somewhere over here? Yeah, something like that. I don't know where he went. All right, I'll get you in close in a minute. And we'll take a look at that. So I went through the two machines that I'm working on. I went through the blades real fast. And so this is the blade for this guy. So we're gonna mount the blade, and what I wanted to show you, I cleaned up the wheels, of course, and I cleaned out in there. So we're gonna lube everything up. Basically the way this goes on now, and the way it comes off is, it just falls apart. It's bolted and nutted, not like the old ones where essentially the adjuster and everything stayed where you needed it. Now there's one adjuster, it falls right off when you take everything apart. Let's get in a little closer and I'll show you. I'm just going to do a quick lube, touch of grease on the gear area, just a touch, because this is plastic in here, it's metal there, and we'll get some chain lube and some chain wax. It'll dry up, wipe off any excess, we'll put it back, and then we can have it down on all fours. Another reason why I picked this one. And so once we get that done, then we'll put the blade on, and as we're putting the blade on, we're going to make sure the belt is okay, cleaned out underneath the belt cover. All of that is good to go. Everything looks pretty good as far as I can tell so far. Let's get to it. So we got our chain wax. That'll dry up nice. It's a wax. This is more of a gel. So let's start off with this. I just want to get a little bit in behind and into this gear. The gears are clean, so, and a little bit in there. And then as that sort of goes in, I should shake them first. This will help it to dry up a little. There was nothing in here. It's just bare. Now this is the adjuster. It goes on the other side. And hopefully I can get to everything from where I am, because no matter where I put the camera. So nut and bolt. Now, I did wipe these down, but we want to get some actual grease on them. A light grease. Nothing too thick, because it'll jam it up. These wheels, all these wheels, they get jammed up, especially the front ones. On most of these machines, these kinds of machines. So now you can go put that through, because there's no, on this one it looks like there is a bearing surface, like a steel insert. A lot of the cheaper ones there isn't. That'll also help hold the bolt. And then just a dollop. Let's see the end here. There wasn't much inside, so these things seal up okay. And then a little bit on here. A little bit on this side, just a dollop. Like I said, that'll help hold it. Then put this on, like that. And then this flat to that flat. And you could see where it all wants to go. And it used to be this was threaded on the better bracketing. And it'll all kind of go in. Now we got to sneak underneath. Get it started. Because it's a lock nut. It still doesn't feel right. It's a lock nut. Yeah, that side. I switched around to the other side. It feels a little bit better. Now we kind of try to hold it. We're going slow. You're going to kind of hold everything in place. I like this one because it's weaker than like a bigger competitor or whatever. This is a Ryobi. So for certain things, this is not adjustable. If you have an adjustable one, that's great. See how it flops? All right, that's going good. Let's go to the other side. All right, I got everything lubed up. And so, again, a little bit here, right? Because it's rubbing on that, and you can see it when it's clean. And it's the back side of the wheel. Now this guy, how did this guy go? So this went, I think it goes from behind because there's a little two indents, but the indents are on the back side. So it's gotta go like that. Let's get the bolt in first as well. And let's throw, which is the axle, let's throw the nut on so we don't lose this whole assembly. We got to tighten it up a little bit to do that. So you're going to have to kind of do it more by feel. Go slow. Oh, that's too much. I may want to run a socket in there. So I got a 9/16 back here. Now I can hold the nut with my finger up to that point. Now that doesn't feel right, so let's lift this up. Yeah, she needs to come over just a little bit. Yeah, she's cocked. Boy, that's crap, huh? Sit here and fuss with this a little bit. Yeah, the wrench is a better deal. Until we can get it to line up. Yeah, that seems to be parallel. So now somehow I have to hold that, put this wrench on the nut. If I can get it. Now I can't reach the nut because the plastic's in the way. Well, let's lower it down a little bit more. That's better. Try to hold everything in position. Snug it, check it. That looks about right. All right, it's snugged. All right, it's not tight, but let me check it. And I'll try and get you in a little closer. That seems about right. All right, we'll put it down here so we can get to the nut. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? All right, that's good and tight. Let me get the little counter in there. What is it? Oh, okay. So the bar is hitting the piece that I got this thing propped up on, but she's going good. She feels nice. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, let me get you in. Let's take a look at a few different angles. All right, see it here? And you may catch it, but it's got to be parallel. That bracket, so you can't really see anything. But it's got to be parallel. So the straight edge of this adjustment bracket has to be parallel with the bracket that is holding the wheel on. And you can almost see it. Yeah, real fudgy, huh? But it's on. Yeah, good luck fooling with that. It's not terrible. All right, now that that's there, I'm going to use my quarter drive because it's just going into plastic. It's got a shoulder on it, so it'll align it. That's in. It'll stop. That's in. Now we've got the blade adapter, so we're going to get It's nice that it came off. It means it's not all rusted on. Well, here's our blade adapter here. We got this big bolt. Oh, we're just going to put a little bit, just grease. And so this is it's like a cutter wing for mulching. Goes towards the deck, okay? And then this is a nice adapter too, part of the adapter. And it helps to locate everything and holds it and keeps it from flexing too much and just makes it nice. That is still a Toro thing. So their blade adapter is actually quite nice. And it's somewhat ribbed, hear it? So it'll kind of align and lock in. So I like to make sure everything is kind of on there. Notice that these seem like they felt like they're a little loose, but yeah, they're coming out a little bit. Yeah, this one too. I know I'm getting distracted, but yeah, she's coming out a little bit. Yep. Any more like that? Because it's only into plastic. Yeah, a little bit. Need a little tightening. I always often say check for tight. Now let me get my Blammo tool. We'll Blammo that on. So all nice and sharp. So this is going to put about the correct. I've been doing it for years. So that's pretty close to the correct. I think it's about 60 foot-pounds, somewhere around there. So we're good to go here. Now we can put it down on all fours and straighten up a little bit, and we're going to pull that carburetor off and get a good look at the rest of the motor. We're going to get this off. So of the two machines that I've been working on, both had fuel in the same. This is in the same container, and there's very little dirt. It's just older fuel. I didn't see much water. There was a little bit of moisture in this container. If you close it and leave it out, as the temperature changes a little bit in it, you'll see a bit of moisture form around here. So I left it open for a little bit, let that escape. But nothing like puddles, no real water contamination. We'll get that cleaned up. This is the air filter, so that was really what it's suffering from. I'll pull the plug in a minute. Of course, that's dirty. So this is pretty clean in there. We'll blow it out. We're going to take this off, and then I'll come back in a bit, and we'll pull the plug. Before I do any washing or pressure washing, I always reach in there. This is automatic choke. So I've talked about this many times before on these engines. Make sure you remove that spring because it's only loosely held on and it's kind of covered, but you go start sticking a hose or a pressure washer in there, you'll lose it on the lawn. You'll never find it again. So there are two different sizes, right? This is the one that goes into plastic, and then the outer ones go into the steel, the bracket. So let's get this off, and it all pulls right off. You can use a wrench, whatever. I don't use zip guns for a lot of this stuff because you'll overheat it, you'll strip it out. I mean, you can if you're careful, but there's not much to this. There really isn't. And when you put them on, you should really use a tool like this. So regardless of what you use to get it off. If they're really on hard, and you're having a problem, use a little 1/4-inch drive that you see me use a lot. All right, just a quick look to see. I'll show you where that spring goes later. Throttle, choke. And I've seen it where people have flipped these over and they've gotten them jammed. So just get a good look at it. Just give it a tug. Okay. And then this is one of these angle bends that just pulls through like a Z bend. Might fight you a little bit. Put a little lube on it. If it's dirty, that extra friction will fight you a little. All right, now we can bring this over on the table. I will disconnect this. Okay, I might leave this on, but I'll disconnect it from here so we can treat the tank separately. Let's put a little secret sauce on here. Yeah, so this should be pretty clean in there, but we'll give it a quick rinse, blow it out, some fuel, compressed air. And it comes right off. Now, I'll get to that in a bit. It's not, I mean, the pressure washer got to most of it. And as I've been saying, it's pretty clean inside. I'm just going to give this a quick rinse now. Yeah, there's our fuel in there. Just to wash the outside. Our O-ring is in there. That's the white is the retainer. So just a quick, yeah, I can kind of smell it's old. So I'm not going to bore you, but I'm just going to give it a quick rinse. I'll blow with light, low pressure air, 15, 20. I always talk about that. All right, we don't need sonic cleaners for something like this. These are very friendly carburetors to us these days because of the alcohol and everything in the gas. So they don't, I mean, if you get dirt in there, any carburetor is a problem. It's sucking in dirt and you're putting crap fuel in from the gas can, filler can that's contaminated. There's no carburetor that can deal with that. So you always check your cans. Yeah, the silvers are the smaller bolts or screws. This gas smells bad. Yeah, no matter what I do, that noise just rings through the neighborhood because they're cutting and with all their machines and all that. Right here, right in there. Right? There it goes. Yeah, she's clean. Yeah, she's fine. We'll pull everything apart and just give it a quickie, but there's nothing in here. Right? Everything is clean. It's just something happened. Most likely, the cables are a little damaged. But they work, but we'll fix them up. We'll get them lubed. Oh my God, does it stink. And there's just a little bit of debris in there. That looks good, fellas. Yeah, it's just a little bit of junk in there. Let's pull this out. Now I just grab it, move everything out of your way, and give it a pull. Don't stick screwdrivers in there. I've seen people do that, and that's bad. You'll destroy the seal area, and then you'll wonder why it won't work. And don't over crimp it. One guy said to me, see the ball in there? I think he used a vice grip or something. He said he popped it like a zit. Oh, you told me to do that. No, I didn't tell you to do that. Right, just grab it and then hold it and give it a tug. That's it. Put it on your table. Give it a tug. That's all. You should be able to do it. Do they make a tool for that? I don't know. Yeah, it's called the bear pliers. I don't know. It's mostly in here and it gets caught underneath that area in here. Kind of gets caught up in there. So now we can take a little bit of gum out. It's not bad at all, fellas. Get underneath that vent. Yeah, there's nothing wrong here. All right, let me blow it with a little bit of low pressure air. Hold on, now I'll call. I was going to give a quick, just to get underneath here. Yeah, that's good. Let me wipe it off and blow it. Away from the table. All right, and lastly, yeah, she's beautiful. And of course, now we don't want to spend too much time with this because you don't want to screw up that O-ring. It's not an O-ring. Well, there is one O-ring on it. This is a rectangular ring. Yeah, this is clean. There's nothing in here. You'd see it. Yeah, that's good enough. Quick blow. Yeah, you'd see it. See, now this is really white. It's blaringly white. So that's one of the problems that you have. So if you set the camera up one way with lighting, then you find to try to deal with the darker, and even though the camera is somewhat in automatic, you can't just let it do whatever it wants to do. Yeah, that's all good. All right, hold on. Let me just wipe up. I want to get rid of all the stinky objects, and we'll put it together. So this is just a 50-50 of training fluid and gas. A lot of times I'll use the older gas, but not the stinky shit. Like this coming out of here. Oof, this is bad. It only goes in one direction. So let's lay it in there. Oh yeah, see how close that is? Now watch. Boop. All right. Everything's nice in there. Let's hang this guy. Yeah, I do actually like these carburetors, and these motors are not bad. Hold on. Get the crap off my fingers. Not bad. They're easy to work on. Right? They're just not going to be around as long as the older motors. But that's okay, because the bodies of the machines that they're on is so thin, and as soon as, you know, they're not taken care of, so the paint's going to come off, they're going to rot. So those aren't going to be around either. Well, unfortunately, I try to restore as many of the older machines as possible. Now this only goes on one way as well. But I can't, you know, you can't do them all. You can't save everything. This only goes on one way. Notice the reset or recess. Sometimes I say the wrong words. Line it all up. See how it just dropped right on there? You do not want to screw this down. So line it up, get it so it's not cocked, and then just press it down. As far as you can get it. A little cocked. There we go. And then it's still a little cocked. Just a little bit. It'll pull in the rest of the way, but there we go. Okay? I got it in. Because you don't want to pull it in. That's how they strip. People strip these out. They blammo them in with their banger guns, and I get them, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. Well, that hole's no good. Yeah, don't pull them in with these screws. These screws. Done. Now, just make sure, a little lube on that gasket. A little lube on the butterfly, a little lube in that cushiony felt thing. That's their oiler. Same here. I mean, on the metal ones, this stuff can get stuck, but not on these. So like I was saying, see this? See that it's oriented? It's like a follower. I've seen it where they've been flipped over. I've seen sheet metal screws shoved into the flapper, the sail on the older Briggs engines with automatic choke. Because the sheetrock screw is what was missing from it. Big long ones too. Let's go put this on. Let me set the camera up. But before I do that, let me get the can, the fuel can. I wipe this out a little bit. I don't see much in there, but because it's so stinky, put a little plug on that. I'm gonna pour a little fuel in that, fresh fuel. So the vent tube is here, which goes into like the air cleaner area. There's always a vent. The caps used to be vented, but now they did it this way. When I first shook it, it started peeing out there. I'm gonna clean my glasses. I think I got it on my glasses. Yeah, she's clean. All right, let me go blow this out. Let's just wipe this off. We already got some of this. I can show you in here. I want to get some in there. I could take that apart, but this is that O-ring is in there. But we did a good job cleaning everything. It really wasn't terrible. I guess something went wrong. I mean, even the flywheel is super clean with super clean. Okay, so I'll get this one in first. All right, that's your throttle. And then this one's a little bit more flexible. We can kind of force it in, and like I said, because it's clean, it'll move easier, which it did. Pop it in. Okay. Now we got that spring. The one goes here. Let me get you in tight so you can see it with all the plastics off and everything. And it feels like it's twisting, so I don't really want it to twist because it could work its way off. I want it to fit. Yeah, that's better. We want it to lay natural-like. Okay. And then we want to put a touch of oil on that. If that gets sticky, the choke won't work. And a touch of oil, make sure it's clean, right? Now, despite the oil, which you don't need to, but it's not a bad idea. All right, it'll get into that bushing. It's like a bushing. That's your choke stove. It heats up and gets cold and moves back and forth. Gets cold, puts the choke on. Gets hot, expands, turns the choke off. There's the mechanism. This is your throttle control and your governor spring. You can adjust the speed, the total speed here by bending that. All right, when you bend it this way, you pull on the spring more, right? You're working against the internal governor. So you can experiment with that. We need to check the coil. I can see it's not right. I'll get you in close. Let me bring the other camera in before we continue. All right, so here's the spring arrangement. A little hook there, a little hook there. And then I can see there's more of a gap here than on that side. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the engine brake back, pull it back, and I'm going to let this go free. And I'm going to stick my feeler gauges in there. We're most likely going to redo that. But let's finish up with this. Tank being all clean, now we can slip a little lubricant on there to make life a little easier. Because I'm all about making life just a scotch easier. Aren't we all? Yeah, that went on there good. Reach underneath, put that silly thing back on, silly clamp. Oh, it's kind of easy to do with the plastic off and everything. Make sure it's pushed down all the way. We're golden. Now, get this guy on. There's your vent tube. That vent tube is, and that's basically where that goes. And that vent tube is for your crankcase vent. All right, I got to bolt it back up. So the silvery ones go into the plastic. So I like to just start everything. Because you kind of have to manipulate it a little. That way let it take its natural position without forcing anything. All right, now we can tighten. Let's get the metal bracket part on first, which locks this down. And you can see how that locates, right? We'll put a new air cleaner on later. I'm going to pull the plug, turn this thing around the other way. And I'm going to check the coil. Almost ready. Probably give it a little test today. It's getting late. I'm tired. See you in a minute. All right, so that's a 14, and this is a 10, and I can't even really get it in there. So that's borked. Let's pull the plug. Let's readjust this. I'm going to adjust it to, we'll do 12, right? Because these flywheels are not really round. So let me do that, but let's get that plug out. All right, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I pulled the cable back. Right, the engine bail, it's up there with a little piece of Velcro. I'm going to shove a big screwdriver in here. Now I'm going to let the brake off, right, on the cable. Let it go. It's very sticky. The cables are a little damaged, and this one's coming to the inside. It's in the way of the bag. Now that that's off, I'm going to pull some excess. You can't see. Hold on. See what I mean? So now you can get it out. And now we can put it on the outside. I can rearrange it. Look, it's a little damaged. And you'll get a better look later. They're both damaged. There's probably another reason why. You can't see it. It's up there. Let me pull you back a little bit more. So it's damaged up in this region. So now I'm going to spend some time up on top and down here. You can try to put a cable loober in it, but we may have to replace it. No. See, it's got some rot in there. So I'm going to put some soy sauce in that, let it druze in. Then I'm going to use my cable lube here. This probably go in it, but it's a little thick. I want to hit it from both sides. It's too dry. We'll put a little lubricant on that mechanism too. And then I want to get it all on here. Very dry. And we'll clean it off. And I want to get, see, it's getting some junk in it because it's been sitting out. So that's causing it problems. So we'll let that kind of go in. And I want to get from the top. A little bent. Straighten out the bend. We'll do the other cable as well, the transmission cable. We got to lubricate a little bit as well. And check it for adjustment. So I'm going to spend some time with that, making a mess. And also, in here we'll put a little bit of chain lube on that mechanism. Yeah, she's got a little bit of a shit in there. For sure. It's getting close to being its end, but it was a nice cable. A lot of times I take them off. This one's a little different. Sets up a little different. There we go. Yeah, she's starting to like that, fellas. Make a bit of a mess on the table. Let me straighten this up. I'll see you guys in a minute. You know, I always police this stuff because either the factory doesn't get it right or whatever. Got a little bit of soup in there because you can't get this off. These things get stuck on. If you want, you can put a little silicone on. Sometimes I use chain wax because these things get like sealed on. Yeah, I can't get that off. And meanwhile, if you're trying to do this without with the cover on, good luck. You get a screwdriver. We got to twist it and get some of that juice in. Yeah, that one's really stuck. Holy crap. There we go. See, once that juice goes in there, it comes right off. There we go. And she's starting to clean up. In pretty good shape overall. I didn't look at the date. I rarely ever do. They're all around the same date. Who cares? Oh my, fellas. Let's put some of my juice in it. It's going to pee out, but we'll spin it over with it in there. We'll do it again. I can't spin it right now because I'm set up. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get you. So the brake is off, but we need to loosen up the flywheel. Yeah, that's working much better. Oh yeah, that's working good. So we got the bail working good, all lubed. I still got the one cable to tweak. I got to tweak the cables a little bit more. All right, not done with that, but now I got the brake pulled back again and spin it away from the magnet, but we're all going to turn over just a little bit just to work some of that sauce in to whatever degree. All right, pull it away from the magnet. It's like a quarter. Yeah, we're good. So now we got to pull it away from the magnet. All right, snug it back. Just snug it. It wasn't on that tight. It's probably why it moved. Then we're going to take our 12, turn the magnet over where we need to be. Just kind of lay it in there. Loosen it up, let it pull in. That's why the brass is handy. Handy? That's good. Retighten. And just give it a, remember there are stacks of metal. So just snug it with your 1/4-inch drive and your stubby. That's good. And that'll provide good torque. I clean them, but this one's clean. Like this one's clean. Like it meets my muster, and I'm particular. Get a tool back. You go find a plug for it. I'm not going to look at the valves or anything because it's not all that old. Besides, we need to test it. I got to get that out. There we go. We could probably get it out here. Yeah. See, it's not concentric. Yeah, clean up a nice used one. Clean it up nice. And touching those C's, gap to about 28. I love these old school ones. This is old Mac. And but I have the others. So this is about 28. Believe it or not, the original, as glued up as it is, and it sat and got rotted, but it's 28. That's the air compressor auto drain. It didn't even have time to wear. Like, you know, when they get hot and they run in, especially if they get hot and you start to see them run at the correct temperature and chocolatey, you'll start to see the gap open up. It's common to see them about 30, 32. It's full of carbon. So putting that junk that I put in there, my magic sauce, that'll help. Could be part ignition, part carburetor. I don't see bad fuel in it. I don't know there's always something that stops these things, right? Why they get thrown out. It's usually a number thing. Right, now, this plug hasn't really been used much, so I can tell because the gasket is compressing. It's going to feel like it's stripping, but it's not. No banger guns there either. You know, I often say you got to learn to feel things with your hands. Put a little bit of that in there. What I saw one guy do is he didn't get this in right. And the gripper, right, that's inside there, that's part of the terminal, that grips the end of the plug, he had it up here. And that was another reason why it didn't want to run right. It was intermittent, he was having issues. So I went over that entire machine. I think it was one of these kinds of motors. There, it went on there. But it was on a pressure washer. Same stuff. They're all basically the same. A lot of people don't know that. Now, let's move this up all the way. And then, hear that? Now we can take it off, but it's bolted on. Oh, that one's crap. Hold on. While we're here, let's see. I mean, we could just take it off. Let's just see if she takes some lube. The grease in. Yeah, it really should have grease, but that's better. Now, be careful. Right? This choke thing here, that's its adjustment. You can expand it or contract it. So if the choke isn't coming on and staying on properly, then it may not start properly. It may take a couple of pulls, 3, 4, 5 pulls. So you want more choke. But if it's staying on too long and you're starting to see black smoke come out and she's gagging on the choke, then you got to bend this so that it takes a little bit more of the choke off on the other end. So let's see. But if you put this top down, still a little bit of dirt in there, and it's all gacked and filthy, and you put it down the wrong way, try to get into where that spring pocket is somewhere. Yeah, it's over here. The chain works the best. Pull it through. Wipe it out. So if you don't get it in that pocket proper, you'll bend that rod, and then you'll be all screwed up. All right, that'll tighten up. You gotta put something in there because we've washed it and it's had gack in it. Oh, that's gonna detract the dirt. All right, so don't put anything. Why don't you throw some more dirt back in there? There you go. Yeah. Rerun this too. That's fine. I know, people give me a hard time for the damnedest thing. Oh, no, you're yelling, you're being an idiot. Yeah, all right, thanks. Stop in later. So they're all the same. These are the same things as the other machine I just took off. So here, we can put a touch of chain lube. There we go. You don't want these things to get stuck. You can put a touch of no-sees on the ends. You know, I have seen them get stuck. But if you take care of your mower, what's nice is these mowers, right, and these engines, I often say, like every year or so, clean them out. Especially if, like with me, I'm in that dusty environment, very dusty. And also, if you've left it out for any time, even in a shed, if the shed has access to the outside, right, you got the water vapor, the potential rust, but mice nest, dauber nests, any kind of nest, and it'll be underneath here. And that'll affect the cooling and the operation. And you don't want that. That kills the oil, and then when the oil dies, it kills the motor. So, all right, let's put a little fuel in it. Let me just check the oil, since it's questionable, and I'll add a little bit of oil in if I think it's too low. No, it looks good. But if I was going to add in, I would just add in some good, what I call good use. No, it's actually perfect. Might have been a little high. which is another problem I've seen. People somebody will say, oh, fill it up with oil. And then somebody they'll actually fill it up with oil and it'll be full. And I've seen it where the motors don't run. I got a video out on that. All right, let me back you out. I'm going to go over, bring it outside, and we'll put a little bit of gas in it because we're going to need to turn it perhaps again. We'll see. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Like good timing because it's about to get dark soon. Yeah, we run out of light quick. All right, we're going to let it run if it runs. All right, we'll let it run, burn off all the junk, let it run for a bit, let it cook that oil, mix everything around, and we'll bring it in, we'll dump the oil, and we'll do the finish on it. Nice. All right, let's let it run for a bit. Oh yeah, she's running good, the back's running good. Let's hot start it. That's working good, feels nice, much better. Bring it in. Oh, that's muck. Yeah, and there's like the usual muck and mire and stripies. Yeah, it's the usual. Nothing excessive. It's just constant muck and the stripies and the aluminum and the common wear, and it smells. It smells old. You can get the cheap stuff, right? It's decent, semi-synthetic, Valvoline 1030, and it's the high mileage. But for my better machines, I might mix it, right, with my Rotella, but no. Let's just get this going and make sure it's filled up. I'm going to kind of go over the cables. You can start to see a little bit. They're flying in the breeze. They're kind of bent, right? So I'm going to try to organize these, make them a little bit nicer, pull them around, get them cleaned up a little bit better. I got them out of the way of the bag. I want to make sure that these guys work because this is how you fold it over. And if somebody wants to put it in a car, we want to be able to do that. So I'll be back in a bit, and then we're going to wipe everything down and give it just a touch of clear. Oh yeah. Just going to give it a quick wipe with some solvent just to get, because I got oil all over it. Just a little bit at a time. I mean, it's fairly clean, but you know, like I said, we got all the oils on it. So just a basic solvent. You can use a mineral spirits. Sometimes I mix a bit of mineral with some gas, just to remove any oils or junk. All right, Rust-Oleum engine enamel, 600 degrees. It's chemical resistant once it dries. So I'm going to go very light, very, very light. I don't mind getting on the table because there's a lot of oil on the table. You want it to ablate. It's like adding a touch of stain. Just to kind of smooth over the imperfections. Replace a little bit of the clear that's been worn off. That's good. See how very little I'm using? Stand back, don't lay. You're not laying a deep layer coat. I want it to ablate. In other words, I want it to be able to come off a little bit at a time. I don't want any peeling, and I don't need it really shiny. There's no reason for that. It's an older machine. Stand back and add a little texture. That's it. Let me clean out my paint can. I like to blow the nozzle through and the tip and all that with a little bit of gum out. Get rid of it. That way, when I put it away, it always works. I took some pictures of the model numbers, and I don't know if they came out. I didn't check it. I want to get this outside and take some more pics of it. I got some pics in here. Maybe tonight I can get it for sale. Oil's done. Plug is nice and clean. We went over everything. We went over the ignition system. We went over the tank and the carburetor. Went over the blade and the pulley and the gears. And it's dry, right? Okay. It dries quick when I do it like this. There's just that added bit of extra protection, as all of the volatile chemicals come out of the plastics, and even some of this, because this is plastic too. The paint, it's a polyester resin. It's plastic. It's not even really paint. So as that off gases and oxidizes, it starts to get white and dull. And so we're just putting some of that back and protecting it a little bit longer. Great sales tool, looks really good, protects things. I use very little, right? One can could be, 10 mowers or so. I don't know. Can't beat it. Everything is in pretty good shape for a used mower, right? So these things are probably a few $100, $300 or so nowadays new. Might get 160 this time of year, maybe, right? For what you put into it, fresh filter, fresh oil, you got to get something out of it, right? But if somebody's going to get a nice mower, and this is the guaranteed to start GTS 140cc. So I have the standard MTD push style, basically the same thing. Although I don't know who makes these decks. It might be Toro. It is a little bit different, but basically the same. Plastic front, plastic back. The bag is black on that one. The wheels are basically the same, a little bit different. Some of them come with high wheel in the rear on the push. Those are nice. And if you can keep your deck in good shape and keep everything going good, do your oil change every year. Make sure you got oil in it. Keep it like this, lube up cables, go over it once in a while, clean it all off like I just did. What you wind up with is something like this that you can, I just did this with my Honda too, that you put back into service for like another year or so, and then maybe you do it again, right? And if you can actually go over it once a year, you'll probably have it for a long time, especially if you keep it in the garage or a shed. Don't leave it out. Thanks for watching this episode. This is how I do one of these quick.